So this is a documentary about of quite a few teenagers that are lesbian, except one, and four of them brutally murdered an 18-year-old girl over one simple lie. Fun facts about this: I was interested in this when I was about a teenager, and I was in the store and I saw this book, and it looked it so intriguing that I just wanted to buy it. It was only $1 anyway. So when I read it, I was like, what? And then after I read it the first time, I just never looked back at it. And I guess probably about 15 years later, I found the book and I read it again, and I just wanted to come here and share with you guys about what I took from the book, basically. And it's not a lot out there about this story. There's no documentaries. There are not a lot of photos out there. So I have to use what I have to put this together. So hopefully you guys can bear with me. So let's start off by the title. It's called The Fatal Lie, and it's written by Sally Chu. And let's get into the characters. One of the characters it started off with was Robin. And by the way, this is based in Richmond, Virginia. And Robin was a freshman, and she was a self-proclaimed butch dyke. That's what they call it. And her BFF was Turtle. And Turtle is 17, and she dips chewing tobacco. She has a child. She had a child at 13, actually. And she dates Tracy, which is 6'1", long blonde hair, and they have an on and off again relationship together. And also we have Damika. She's the only black girl in the crew, and she lives around the corner. And she's the only straight girl that's in the crew as well. And she has the eyebrow ring. You'll be able to see her on one of these 4 pictures. She's the only black girl. So let's get into these photos of their mugshots, which is actually what it is. The top left is Damika, the black girl. The top right is Tracy. And the bottom left is Turtle. And the bottom right is Stephanie. And we'll get into them very shortly. This young girl right here is Stacy, not to be confused with Tracy. And she actually moved to the town because she was trying to get her life together, basically. So let's talk more about what happened. So Robin, we cannot find any pictures of Robin on the internet or in the book or anything. She had a house, a little small house, because these people were no older than some 20, some 19, some 17, 18-year-olds. So they had a small house, which was Robin, Turtle. Tracy would live there from time to time, which is, of course, Turtle's girlfriend. And so they got into it, and then eventually Tracy moved out with her older girlfriend, Sandy, which is 30 years old. And obviously, Tracy was not in love with Sandy, but, she was just dealing with Sandy because her and Turtle were not getting along. And then also Stephanie was a part of the house, and also Damika wasn't a part of the house, but she came over there a lot, and they would party, do acids, drink a lot, smoke a lot. I mean, they did pretty much anything any and everything you could think of as teenagers. So when Stacy finally comes around, um, she really likes Turtle, basically. And her and Turtle, they kind of mess around. But Turtle is not really into Stacy like that. She's really in love with Tracy. And Stacy was a little sneaky from what I've read. She would tell like little white lies to get stuff started. She would lie and tell she would tell Turtle that Tracy doesn't love you, and then she would tell Tracy that Turtle doesn't love her, and as well because she liked it Turtle, so she did not want her and Tracy getting back together. So people in the house were eventually tired of Stacy lying, so they said they was going to teach her a lesson, and that did not end too well. So after Tracy and Turtle got back together, they realized that Stacy have been lying, just starting trouble, always, trying to get back with Turtle and didn't want Tracy anywhere near. And they actually got really fed up about her lying. And as well as D'Amica was fed up, and Stephanie as well. They just was tired of her being like a little troublemaker. I mean, nothing too serious, but they were just over it. So they came up with a plan to teach her a lesson. They was going to beat her up, basically. They was going to teach her a lesson. So they basically got her into the car, and Stacy thought that they was just going for a ride. So they went down like some dirt road in Virginia, and they started beating her up. They told her they're tired of her lying. They was kicking her. They was like kicking her to the point like she was bleeding. And then eventually D'Amica took a cinder block and crushed her skull. They were cutting her, stabbing her in her spine. I mean, just so much blood, cutting her hair, doing everything, like just beating her for hours. So they put her in a trunk. Like, I would assume she was dead if they cracked her skull, but they heard her kicking and trying to escape, and then basically they took her out. They realized that they needed to finish the job, and Stacy was like, I'm sorry that I lied. I'm sorry. I'm in love with Turtle. She just kept telling Turtle, I love you, as they were still beating her up. And even when Tracy was like, can I just call my mom and tell her, like, goodbye, I love her, things like that. I believe it was Tracy that slit her throat, actually. They slit her throat, and they left her in a mud puddle where she drowned through the slit of her throat, and that's how she drowned and died. And they went home. Of course, they, took her, cover up the evidence. D'Amica, the dumb one, she took the girl's watch and took it with her. So of course eventually the police found out it was them, and then Turtle got life in prison. Tracy got life in prison. Stephanie got life in prison as well, and they was gonna give D'Amica, the black one, the death penalty, because not only did she assisted in killing her, she also stole from her. And because of that law, those laws are really strict in Virginia, they was going to really put it down to her, but they didn't never put her to death. So she just ended up getting life. And in 2015, Stephanie was able to get out on early release, I believe, good behavior, and she did the least of the brutal attack, because she has like a little disability, rheumatoid arthritis. So she gave her a few kicks, but she didn't kill her or anything. This took place in 1997. So she got out in less than 20 years. I'll say 18 years if it was 2015. Yeah. So yeah, over one little lie, over something so petty, they decided to kill her. Okay, I understand getting angry. I understand kicking her out. Anything, just, they didn't have to kill her. They could have just told her to go away. We don't want you around us anymore. That was a senseless murder. And they didn't have a lot of emotion, from my understanding. They, start blaming each other. Again, mind you, these girls are young. They just didn't realize how, severe this case was, what the severity of it. So yeah, they're still in jail to this day, except Stephanie. So hopefully you enjoy this little true crime, somewhat documentary. I wish I had more pics to post, because it would have been more of like a movie. But let me know if you like me talking about this type of stuff, and please like, share, and subscribe.